The countdown is at 2. We've got one more week after this. Welcome to the Wise Guy Sports Show, episode 52. It is Friday night, December 8th, 2023. We'll talk about why we're going live tonight as opposed to tomorrow. We'll talk about why we actually had to take last week off. But first of all, Michael, it's been a couple
James.
off. It's you're looking good. You're feeling better.
Absolutely. I went and picked Bobby up from school last Friday when I had the day off, and the little germ factory, I was feverish all weekend, so we had to cancel last week's show. But James, there's a disturbance in the force.
There is a disturbance in the force.
And when we say it like that,
or would it be the Schwartz?
With this guy, it could be either one. And if we're talking Star Wars, there is only one we could be speaking of. That is our longtime friend and member of the Wisely Elite, the sporting Sith himself, Mr. John Rice. John, that hat is ugly as a motherfucker.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
So it's apropos that John has on the number one overall seed in the biggest piece of garbage this side of, I don't know, the NBA in-season tournament that we have talked about ever. And that is the 2023 edition of the college football playoff. And gentlemen, we have talked about this off the air. We have talked about this on social media, and we have talked about this probably to people who really just don't give a shit. And it was a little surprising last Sunday, I think, when we saw the rankings. So as I mentioned, John, of course, wearing the colors of the Maize and Blue, the number one overall seed, Michigan Wolverines. Washington comes in at 2. Texas, the champion of the Big 12, comes in at 3. And then surprising everyone, well, not surprising, but really just fucking wrong, coming in at number 4, the champions of the SEC, the Crimson Tide of Alabama. And John, I think we should start with you because you have the better idea than this fucking committee about what they should do with the playoff.
I've had it for years, man. I've had it for years. Finally going to it next year.
And this is the second year we've talked about it.
Yes, it is.
What was your initial reaction to seeing Florida State, an undefeated Power 5 conference champion, left out of the playoff?
Straight up mind blown. Yes, like how you said, it wasn't a surprise to see Alabama get in. It was just dead wrong. They missed the mark completely on this, leaving. I would like to see if the tables were turned. If, say, I'm just throwing out teams out there, just say Louisville was ranked 8 and Florida State was ranked 1. And Louisville beats Florida State in the ACC championship and has 1 loss on their record. And Alabama and Georgia face off. One's undefeated, one's not. And the undefeated team wins. Is it flipped? Is it reversed? Does it go that way? Does Louisville end up getting in with a 1-loss ACC champion after beating an undefeated Florida State in the ACC championship? And the answer is absolutely not. Like that's a no-brainer. Absolutely not. So for the situation to be totally flip-flopped and reversed to absolutely have no outcome whatsoever, it's mind-blowing, straight up mind-blowing.
Jim, you were an early proponent. You and I talked last Sunday after we had canceled Saturday night, of course.
At length, yes.
We did. And I kept saying over and over again the words undefeated Power 5 conference champion. You had more or less understood the reasoning behind it. So why don't you take the ball and run with it from there and tell me what your initial reaction was? And I know you talked to your old man about it shortly thereafter too. What your initial reaction to it besides mind blown, because you said you were that too?
It was originally a shock seeing Texas at 3. I knew when Texas blew out Oklahoma State because that was a mauling. That was a straight up mugging. And I knew that they were going to win. I had no idea they were going to put 35 up in the first half. I knew Texas was going to get in. I didn't know if they were going to get in that high. I had a feeling that the SEC champion was going to be in either way and somebody was going to get shut out. But the more I started watching the ESPN coverage, not, ESPN not being, homers to the SEC or anything aside, the more that I started seeing the discussion of, damn it, I still got this damn cough. The more I started seeing the discussion, the less of an issue that I had with it. Because for me, the Florida State argument will tear this apart as we go tonight, especially in the first half. The Florida State argument, it's very much to me like Star Search. It's 50% resume, it's 50% eye test. The resume was good, but the other four had better resumes in terms of quality wins, strength of schedule, everything of that nature. But with the eye test, losing Jordan Travis the way that you do, their offense was absolute dog shit against Florida. And it was even worse than that against Louisville, where they only put up 55 yards through the air in that game. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it was Georgia over Alabama. Georgia could have beat Alabama by 60, but still, if they're only putting up 55 yards through the air, it doesn't pass the eye test. So the more I start thinking about things like that and watching Florida State against Florida, watching them for a little bit of that game left, the less of a problem that I have with this. Because let's also be honest, Texas deserved to be in because the outside of 15 seconds against Oklahoma, they would have run the table. And could we have been talking about Texas as the number one seed? I think personally, the argument was never Alabama over Florida State. I always thought that the winner of the SEC was going to get in and the loser was going to get shut out. I personally thought, and I wrote about it this week on the Sports Note, that I thought the big argument was going to be Texas or Florida State.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that to me. And the only thing I'll say to you about the SEC champion, now let's talk about this. Let's talk about an SEC champion in Alabama that needed maybe the worst defensive play ever in the history of college football to get past a 4-loss Auburn. Their one loss on their resume was at home because, they don't go on the fucking road. Saban just doesn't he's got to stay in the state of Alabama or I don't know, the hairpiece might fall off or something. And let's talk about the team they beat in Georgia for the conference championship. Oh, Georgia with the 115th ranked strength of schedule in the country, who had beaten in clean old fashioned hate the week before Georgia Tech by 8 points. Georgia Tech by 8 points. Dude, Brush could beat Georgia Tech by 8 points, and we know how shit that team is.
Yeah, but also remember Georgia had that massive comeback against Miami, which was actually the result of the dumbest play calling of all time.
Well, Cristobal's a fucking idiot. John, I've had a lot of caffeine in the last 10 minutes.
That's all good. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of fired up. But
my thing is to jump in real quick. Mike, you and I had talked about this last week before the conference championships even started. I think we talked on Friday night, and I told you the team that held the key was Texas.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I said that is because I said Michigan wins, they're in, undefeated. Washington wins, they're in, undefeated. Florida State wins, they're in, undefeated. I said the team that held the key was Texas, because Texas went to Alabama and beat Alabama at home. I'm sorry, but there is no way, shape, or form both Texas and Alabama should have leapfrogged Florida State after being an undefeated Power 5. It's not like this was an undefeated UCF team that squeaked by their Conference USA championship. It's not. We're talking about the Power 5 conferences, which are all supposed to be equal across the board as far as talent from head to toe. And I'm talking about conferences from top to bottom. I'm sorry. The best conference in the country from top to bottom is probably the ACC. From top to bottom.
Not this year.
No, I think he's.
But I would put the bottom 3 ACC teams against the bottom 3 at any other conference, and they'd probably walk all over them.
But I also think the reasoning for my argument with that is that if you were to rank the Power 5 conferences for their strength this year, I got to go Pac-12 number one. There's no question about that. The ACC was at the bottom, and I don't think it was close.
Well, hold on. Now, let me put it this way. Interconference, ACC to SEC, SEC is under 500.
I understand that, but if you look at the top tier playoff, or at least the top 10 teams that ended up going to New Year's Six or getting in this tournament, I thought with the class of what was there throughout the course of most of the year, I thought the ACC was the worst of the Power 5 schools. And that's another thing that attributed to them. I also think there was some politics involved because remember, every time they voted to expand on this, the ACC opted out.
And be that as it may, Jim, 10-second hypothetical. Which teams do you think were overranked because of their conference alignment? SEC teams or ACC teams? Ole Miss was never the number 8 team in the country. Please don't say it. They were never the number 8 team in the country.
What about Missouri?
I'm not saying that they were, but I think Alabama was deserving to get back into the top 10. Georgia, regardless of their strength of schedule, 29 in a row, back-to-back national championships. You can make the argument, did they deserve one? They didn't deserve. We found out that they didn't deserve one, but they're absolutely top 10. This is not homerism aside. Mizzou is absolutely a top 10 team.
Mizzou had a very good year and gave Georgia the best game this side. Probably they played all year until Alabama. But I will say this. The only thing I can tell you is I can guarantee you that if the undefeated team going into conference championship weekend that would have lost would have been the one John's wearing, Iowa's not getting in either.
Oh, absolutely not.
And Michigan had the best win in the country before conference championship weekend.
Absolutely not. And
not
also,
that Iowa was gonna score more than half a point a game. Yeah. That's not the point here. The point is, if Iowa would have pulled off that upset, first of all, it would have been a bigger damn upset than Bama beating Georgia. Let's throw that right there.
And one of the biggest issues that we've had for the past few years with this whole CFP, which thankfully they're moving away from that come next year, is you limited the CFP to 4 teams, but you have 5 Power 5 conferences. So somebody is always going to be left out. And for a few years, 2 conferences were left out. For a few years.
Last year, was it 3 last year?
Yeah.
Well, the conference champions were left out because the only 2 conference champions last year were Michigan and Georgia.
Yeah, you had an SEC, 2 Big Tens, and a Big 12.
Yeah, and the Big 12 and the other Big 10 weren't conference champions.
No,
correct. But this year, you look at it, you have 3 undefeated Power 5 conference champions. That should be a no-brainer.
That coin flip should have been Texas and Bama.
Exactly. Now, when you look at Texas and Bama fighting for the 4th position, I'm sorry, Texas has the edge there because Texas went to Bama and beat them. They have a head-to-head edge there, plain and simple. It doesn't get much easier than that. I think doing the whole eye test and the strength of schedule stuff and all of this stuff, yeah, that plays a part somewhat. And it can play a part into ranking or seeding the teams. If you want to make it to that point, you can use that to seed the teams. Okay, this team had a much stronger schedule, so they should be seeded higher versus that. But I think the 4th spot should have came between Texas and Alabama, and that's why I said I thought Texas held the key because Texas beat Alabama, and if Texas wins, they're in, and Alabama's out regardless of outcome. But obviously, that's not what happened.
Well, let's talk about Florida State for a second, being probably the most disrespected team in the playoff era. Remember, in the first one, they were the only undefeated team in the country, and they were the 3 seed in that tournament.
Yeah.
And listen, if that's Dabo, they don't say that. And Stephen A. Smith saying that if Deion Sanders was the coach, they would have been in. He ought to be slapped. I cannot stomach him anymore. And I hope Charles Barkley actually does kick his ass like he talked about before the NBA game.
And we found out if Deion Sanders would have been the coach, that probably would have gone against them.
Huh. And your 10-second hypothetical, what if Clemson was in Florida State's shoes right now? Clemson gets in.
Yeah. Oh no,
I
I
mean,
agree with you 100%.
You know what I mean? So it's I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the hatred or the disrespect for Florida State as it is the want and need for someone to have the SEC in there.
Well, John, I don't call them ESECP NFL for nothing.
And if you think about it, if you want to go a step further, we're about what, 4 months away from actually, if you think about it, 2 SEC teams in this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now let's talk about this. Something else. I'm going to make a provocative statement. Then I want you guys to comment on the question I asked, not only to you two off the air, but also on TikTok this morning. Dude, 750 some views, John.
Nice. Way to go, man.
Yeah, I was kind of
Awesome.
pumped. I did that this morning with like 0 fucking sleep.
I could tell. I could tell when I saw it. I could tell.
Hold on. This whole thing was Celsius before. I didn't realize it because we get the jugs of spring water down here. I was gonna have to snort it if there wasn't any water in the trunk.
Oh my gosh.
So let's talk about the question I asked on TikTok and to you guys off the air. And I'm going to start with you, Jim, because I started with John last time. If Jordan Travis is the main reason behind Florida State not being in the college football playoff and his injury and their quote unquote ineptness on offense, why is Jordan Travis not being handed the Heisman Trophy? If he's that important, why are you not handing him the Heisman Trophy?
I don't think you were going to be handing it to him anyway. But yeah, the fact that, I mean, if he gets injured earlier in the year, absolutely Florida State's in. If he gets injured against Florida, I still think he's actually in New York. I don't understand why he's being left off, because quite honestly, if you think about it, typically the Heisman does go to the best player in the country, but there's got to be a lot of success or some playoff implications with the guy that's there really since the playoff became a thing. Really the anomaly to that would be Johnny Manziel.
He was pre-playoff too.
Well, he was pre-playoff as well, but so again, really since the playoffs kind of come into, the soiree, so to speak, you've got somebody who's either in the playoff or just knocking on the door of it. And LSU was a 3-loss team. I understand the kid is really good, but yeah, Jordan Travis, obviously, I honestly think should have gotten the nod.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels will probably walk out of the Downtown Athletic Club with the Heisman Trophy in a couple of days.
We'll do our prediction on that here in a little bit.
Yeah. John, I know I have a feeling we all have the same opinion on this, but I want to have you give your take on that question too, please.
Again, with the hypotheticals, and we could talk hypotheticals all day long, but if he gets hurt in the second game of the season and Florida State still goes on to run the table, are they still out? Because now you're looking at a team that was 2-0, lost their starting quarterback, and then went on to still run the table instead of being 9-0, losing their starting quarterback, winning a couple games, and beating Louisville in the ACC championship, and not passing the eye test. But so if he gets hurt early in the season, they run the table. Are they in? I think they are, because now you
most likely.
Now you have a backup quarterback who's actually proven himself over the course of a decent amount of the season. With that being said, there is no doubt in my mind, if that plays this significant of a part in the reason for them being left out, there's no doubt he should be in New York. Absolutely.
Agreed. And as far as the backup proving themselves, I merely have 2 words for you, and that's Cardell Jones. You had in the first playoff, you had a guy come in. Don't mute my microphone. I'm using it as a hyperbole. You ass. What? I see your face. Not funny. But you had a team that lost their second string quarterback and had to go with their third, win a playoff. First of all, that third string quarterback was not going to play in their bowl game against Texas. or against would have been Michigan. They would have played in the Rose Bowl. He was not going to play. The backup was. He's in concussion protocol unless he was too injured. He would have been back. So yeah, I am so glad this damn thing. I mean, guys, personally to me, this ruined a really good year of college football.
I can't say it ruined. It definitely puts a stink on it, for sure.
Okay, it tainted a really good year of college football.
As great as the Pac-12 was, let's be honest, Pac-12 has not been very good the last few years. The Pac-12 got everybody involved. Oregon, Washington, Oregon State, Arizona making their comeback. Wazoo was entertaining for a little while. Even the crap for the first 4 weeks out in Boulder. It's the Pac-12. I hate to say it,
it was in conversation.
Regardless of where you were, the Pac-12 made you interested in college football, and then basically kind of expanded. Really, everything else kind of took a back seat. The SEC wasn't talked about nearly as much. The Big Ten wasn't talked about nearly as much. The Big 12 was there, but everybody was talking about the Pac-12 because of how exciting it was. So yeah, there's, it left a little bit of a stain at the end, like a really bad aftertaste, but this has been probably the most entertaining season of college football I can remember in at least the last 5-6 years.
And that's what I'm talking about. It really was. Now, granted, with the time constraints I now have with my new position and everything else, like I was telling Jim, I'm working 4 Saturdays this month, dude. Wow. There's some stuff on the line, bro. You've got to, handle it.
I hear you.
But, this is the first year that I didn't broaden my paying attention to the game beyond my team, to the level that outside of stuff him and I were going to talk about, I didn't pay much of attention except for the headlines. But this was entertaining. I mean, like you said, you had the beginning of the year with Coach Prime in Colorado and what they were doing. And then you went into Michael Penix, who was an Indiana transfer, is now going to finish second in the Heisman to Daniels. You had the big games at the beginning of the year to why are you pointing like this?
I think he wins it, but we'll talk about that later. We'll make our arguments in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, no, and arguably he could. I'm just saying if you pay attention to where Jaden Daniels plays and what network it's carried on, it's not a big leap to say that. But yeah, he's a transfer from Indiana, goes out there and just lights it up. You have the great play out of, John's team plays outstanding all year. You have did I see Talia Tagovailoa broke the record for most passing yards in Big Ten history this year?
Yeah, thought so. Yeah.
Who saw that coming out of anywhere?
Nope.
Surprised you don't got a Kiwi dome like his brother. I can't stand to it, John.
I'm just over all of them, honestly.
Yeah, me too. But the playoff. I honestly believe these will be 4 very good games, or 2 very good games. I think that ESCC PNFL is hoping for a rematch of Texas Bama in the national championship game. I think their worst nightmare is Washington playing anyone, whether it be Michigan or whether it be Alabama. So let's see what happens as it breaks down. And the other thing this is the last year that ESPN is going to be covering anybody but the SEC, basically. Because come next season, remember, they lose every major media market in this country to CBS, Fox, and NBC. Because somehow the conference based in the Midwest now goes from coast to coast.
Yeah. Yeah, they picked a big year to they picked a good year to go out.
We made that joke 2 weeks ago.
I know he did. And I'm too tired to remember exactly what the fucking joke was, so I tried again.
The fact that the map of the Big Ten now looks like a schlong.
Looks like a dick. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know when you were talking about that, Jim? All I heard in my head was the second Austin Powers movie. Wang.
Oh my god.
Oh God, it hurts.
Speaking of which, there's a Heather Graham sighting on Netflix. She's in a holiday movie with Jason Biggs and Brandy.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw previews for that.
I'm about halfway
she's a
through it.
hot
It's got its
mess.
moments.
I want to know how the dude from American Pie hooked up with Felicity Shagwell. That's all I really want to know.
Yeah.
Shagwell by name, shag very well by reputation.
Dude, I went to opening night of that film with our boy Creedies and a bunch of people. Look, Matt Madda was in the group we went with, John.
Oh, Jesus.
That's how diverse the group of people was. You couldn't hear past the Jerry Springer scene.
Yeah,
Because we were all laughing so damn hard. So let's jump to a more fun topic. What do you say? And let's talk about said trophies coming out, as I'm pretty sure it's right now. The college football award show is happening. We had the Maxwell, the number one quarterback, went to Michael Penix. The Doak Walker went to the running back from Oklahoma State. The lineman of the year was the big dude from Texas who had the scoop and score in the Big 12 championship game, did the Heisman pose. I loved that. And for the first time since Terry Glenn, an Ohio State wide receiver wins the Biletnikoff. Marvin Harrison wins it. John, I think your boys won that O-line award again for the best unit.
Yeah.
Which should absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. They have NFL starter caliber linemen across the board.
Hey, Zinter's injury isn't career ending, is it?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, good. Good. You don't want to see that stuff.
No. You don't want to see it from anybody, honestly.
No, you don't. Absolutely not.
So we were talking about that earlier about, guys going and getting their money. We talked about that earlier this morning. It's like I can't fault a guy for going and getting his money. So
no, and NIL kind of negates that too, though. If some of the figures like Matt Rule saying it's going to cost you $1.5 to $2 million to get a quarterback in the transfer portal.
Wow.
So that's the next question I want to bring up to you guys. The transfer portal has turned into stupidity. It's free agency basically.
Yes.
So Jim, I want to ask you this. We made the joke about, Kyle McCord, of course, after not a terrible year as the quarterback at Ohio State. He's entered the transfer portal. Julian Fleming has also entered. They've had some serious names. None of the playoff teams have really had anybody. You mentioned Wazoo before. Cam Ward is in the transfer portal. The quarterback from UCLA has entered the transfer portal. Dylan Gabriel's one that surprises me from Oklahoma. Jim, the transfer portal, take it or leave it. What do you think?
The NFL was talking about like the USFL or the XFL now that they've merged, kind of being like a summer off season or like a summer minor league system. They've already got it. It plays the day before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It has turned college football into basically premature free agency, and quite honestly, it's hot garbage.
I'm not the biggest fan of it either. I mean, graduate transfers are one thing. And John, since you referee in lower levels, not D, have you done like D1A with the old D1A?
No, I have not done FBS yet. Just FCS.
Okay. They don't have this crap in the lower levels, do they?
They do. They do.
Really?
Yes, they do. The transfer portal covers all NCAA athletes. So we have had teams. A lot of times what happens is we have a player or two who might have some, for lack of a better word, personality issues coming out of high school. Or things of that nature. So you have the Power 5 conferences, the Group of 5 conferences that just aren't quite ready to pull the trigger. So that player will go to an FCS school and, we'll get his act together. We'll clean himself up, play a year, do really well, be successful, and then move on from there. I have yet to see a player come down from an upper level into the FCS. But I have seen players go up to the FBS from the FCS. I mean, Shedeur Sanders is one. Well, half the Colorado team.
I'll say all the dudes from Jackson.
John, I don't mean to sound naive here, but typically what you see, because I know that you do 1AA, I refuse to call it FBS, FCS. I know you're kind of contractually obligated to, but it's like you actually see like, D2 to D3 or like D2 to 1AA or anything like that.
That's such a there's no spotlight for that. There's no limelight for any of that. There's no, hoopla. There's no, how they have it in the beginning of the movie The Program when they're trying to recruit the freshmen and they got the band playing and the cheerleaders are there, and then he gets off the bus for his first day of school and he like, where is everybody? So it's kind of like this. It's kind of like the similar thing. There's no hoopla. There is no fanfare. Yeah, so it's not like that. It's definitely not like that. It's definitely more quiet. It's more under the rug, so to speak, and it's just kind of like it happens, but it just doesn't get the fanfare.
Because we don't really hear about it in college basketball, just because there's 340 some odd programs, and all of those schools that would be 1AA in football, like Villanova and Georgetown and everyone, they play 1AA. But they're all division. They're 1A in college basketball. So it's like, that's why I think that's why we hear about it so much more in college football, because there's only 119 programs, 120, whatever it is. And it's, there's only a few that are kind of, up above, but it's like, but you've still got in college basketball, you've got smaller schools like a Florida Atlantic who went all the way to the Final Four. Nobody's going to talk about it because you've got over 3,000 players on rosters at the highest level.
And basketball is a little bit of a different animal in and of itself, just because there is no what's the word I'm looking for? Restriction unless it's the 1 year, the one and done thing. There is no real restriction as far as leaving college to go into the pros like there is for the NFL, where you have to wait like 3 years after your high school graduation or something like that. Versus
it's 3 years.
Yeah, versus basketball, it's one and done. So if you're that caliber, like look at Bronny James, he's not going to stay at USC. He'll be gone after this year. He'll be drafted after this year. So it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter where he went. He went to USC probably because it's close to home, but if LeBron was still playing for the Cavs, he probably would have went to Akron, probably could have went to Kent, probably could have went to the schools around here, probably could have went to Ohio State, and it still would have had the same following, still would have had the same spotlight on him, regardless of where he went, because he's going to be a one and done, where you don't have that in football. So these guys that are doing the transfer, I think what the transfer portal opens up is not so much the money grab as it is the opportunity for someone to play somewhere where they wouldn't before. Initially, when you're coming out of high school, and I went through the whole recruiting process when I was in high school, as far as going to football, I went through the whole recruiting process. You're looking for what's going to fit you best as a young man who's becoming an adult. So that's how you kind of choose where you're going to, become a man, so to speak. And then once you get there, you're so used to being the man on campus. I mean, look at it's like 1 or 2% of high school students end up going on to play big time college sports. That's a tiny pool. So when you're used to being the man on campus in high school, and then you go to college and all of a sudden you're not the man anymore because you're sitting behind a Heisman candidate, So now you're looking at it, you're like, wait, did I really make the right choice? So now you're a freshman sitting behind a junior Heisman Trophy candidate. And it's like, and he's not sure if he's staying or going because he doesn't know if he's going to be drafted or where he's going to be drafted. He might want to stick around for another year to improve his draft status. So that's fine. So now as a freshman, you're like, man, I don't want to sit here and wait around for 2 years and waste my life for 2 years. I want to play. I want to get on the field and play. So I think the transfer portal is good in that aspect. I think it's bad in the aspect as far as the money grab is concerned.
No, and the money is the issue I have because I remember. I mean, the portal hasn't been around long because I know Burrow wasn't that long ago, but he was a graduate transfer. Because what was it used to be? You could transfer, but you had to sit a year.
That was the original eligibility restriction.
Unless you were a graduate, unless you graduated, then
unless you were a graduate assistant or a graduate transfer, then you can play right away.
Unless you got a waiver, a la Justin Fields and some other players who have done that.
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I think of the portal. And I think I like your analogy, John, about the kid making the decision and going and then having to sit behind somebody. What I don't like about it is very simply, it seems like in certain circumstances, it's a cop-out.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. I don't disagree with that whatsoever.
It just seems to me like it didn't go the way I wanted to.
Exactly, Jim. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, Jim. I was talking to, and you know me, I never shut up. What did you say?
I did. I pulled the Jim Rome analogy that I'm famous for anymore. When the going gets tough, quit.
Yeah. No. Agreed. I will say this. I did talk to John on the phone this morning, Jim, and I did give you a shout out when I said, if McCord is leaving Ohio State because of the fan base, I now know why you hate them. It's not going to change my mind about it, but I get it. So out of the guys that are looking to transfer and some of the ones who are looking to stay for some reason, let me ask you guys this question. Is NIL going to keep juniors in school longer? Jim, I'll start with you.
Hell no.
Really?
For football, they're going to basically take the payday, realize that they may, at this particular point, the only way that I can see that, let's say that they back up a shitload of money to some kid who's a sophomore, want him to actually come for his junior, possibly senior year. He gets his money up front. Junior year doesn't go the way that he wants, realizes he's not going to be an NFL prospect for his senior year. He's going to be a back-end pick. He'll take the money, and then he'll go do something else with the rest of his life. He'll play in a minor league system. He'll play arena football when it comes back. He'll go play overseas somewhere. It's not going to make them stay in school. They get the money. It'd be just like the college basketball idea with the NIL money and then the transfer protocols, because there's a hell of a lot more countries that play college that play basketball than there are football. So they'll play professionally overseas and they'll make really good money over there and also have the NIL money. And I'm a firm believer that if you get now with the NIL kind of taking effect, and this is like the first major year that we've kind of seen something like this with everyone kind of jumping around, that if you transfer and you've got an NIL deal, you need to give back a prorated share of that.
No, I agree with you 100%. I will put this caveat on the transfer portal, the NIL money, or the NIL money doing what it's going to do. If there are things you want to accomplish in college, you now will have that financial safety net that everybody talks about by not going to the pros with the NIL money. And now you'll end up in a video game. God, I can't wait till next year.
You and me both.
I've already told my wife I'm spending $200 on video games next year. She's like, looks at me like, what? I said, yeah, the show 24 and my NCAA football game, and then you can do whatever else you want. John, what about you?
Which we all know by her text with me earlier today was Mortal Kombat.
Dude, I came home for lunch today and she is playing Mortal Kombat and she stops and she's on her phone. I go, "What are you doing?" Because I'm texting Jim.
That's awesome.
By the way, yeah, it has only been twice I've been to Olive Garden. Okay, I'm a paisano with standards.
Somebody said to me, "How do you like going to Olive Garden?" When it was next to my old office, I said, "If I want to go to McDonald's, I'll go that way."
So yeah, was it on Facebook?
It might have been.
It probably was.
So, John, while Jim's looking up the conversation between him and my wife, do you think NIL could keep people in school?
I do not have as emphatic of a hell no as Jim did, but I don't think it will. For the with an asterisk, with an asterisk on my answer, because if you have a junior who is a top 10 pick, he's going. But if you have a junior who's, say, third, fourth, fifth round pick or projected in that area, I could see him staying, getting the NIL money to try to boost his draft status, to try to, get a bigger payday for him. Because we all know it's not about the contract, because they all have to sign into the rookie contract anyways. It comes down to guaranteed money and signing bonuses. That's what it comes down to. And the higher your draft status, the more the guaranteed money, the higher the signing bonus. So, and yes, higher the contract as well, but you can only contract so much coming in as a rookie,
because you're going for that second contract.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
as
and
far
that's
as,
why
and I don't think the NIL, if you're a third, fourth, fifth round draft pick, I'm not sure if you're going to make significantly more than you would in the NIL pool, to be honest.
probably not. And that was my whole thing, is that with the rookie wage scale in the NFL, it seems to me like depending on the NIL deal, depending on who it's with, you have a chance to make more money than your annual salary in the NFL
Mm-hmm.
and still be on scholarship and have all those benefits too. So I think we're, with the first year of it, I think we're going to see it kind of evolve and change a ton going forward. I don't think it's going to end up being as crazed as it has been this year. But I also don't think it's going to get any better. It's probably going to plateau at just some innate kind of stupidity.
I think this is the year where it kind of shows its teeth and shows how ugly it can be. So I think this is the year where they really kind of judge and kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Just because of, I think they tested the waters the first couple of years and they were like, okay, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. Now it's like the floodgates are wide open.
Oh, agreed. And it gets a little stupid.
Yeah.
You got these 19, 20-year-old kids getting cars from dealerships they're doing advertisements for.
And that's where I actually think it's blown past stupid, and we're at ridiculous speed. We haven't quite hit ludicrous speed, but we're getting there.
All right, so we need to start a counter. That's the third Spaceballs reference we've made this evening. I think we need to figure out by the end of the night. Here we go. You're kidding me. You're killing me. And next time you do that, I'm talking about Taylor and Travis, so I'd stop if I were you.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have an issue with it.
Is your dad still mad at him?
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow.
Oh my God. He read a text chain between him and his brother and his dad on here a few months ago. And the one from his dad started out with, "Let's go see your future stepmother."
That's so funny.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
And then
But it was
somehow, some way, it devolved into.
Just give me a quick second. I'm saying goodnight to my kids real quick. So give me just a quick second.
No,
I'll be
you're
right
good. You're good.
back.
You'll want to hear this too. So what are we? 46 minutes in. What do you figure?
Yeah.
5 minutes or so, and then we'll do halftime.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
We'll do a quick halftime tonight because he's going to want to hear the translator intro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's one for you. Oh, by the way, Willie just liked the TikTok. Here's a question for you. Manny Diaz, the new head coach at Duke, the DC from Penn State. You like that hire?
I kind of do. Considering now, I don't know what's more messed up, the names and the shuffling around that's going on with quarterbacks at D1 or the recent string of head coaching moves.
Yeah, some of that's been a little iffy. Like the new coach at Indiana.
Yeah, but Kurt Signetti, it's which, ironically enough, was the previous post that I did on the Sports Note prior to the Texas thing with James Madison getting over, and then all of a sudden their quarterback enters the protocol, and then the coach bolts.
Yeah, and then he starts talking shit the minute he gets to campus, which again I respect. So, John, we have a couple of things that we've just started doing new since you've been on last.
Oh,
yes. One of them is we take a halftime.
Oh, 13 minutes or how many minutes?
Like 5, dude. It's enough to get up, take a piss, and get a drink.
Why couldn't you told me that before?
But anyway,
why.
real quick to finish up the text thing with my dad, myself, and my brother starts into, don't be mean. That's your stepmom you're talking about, and then it devolves into stepmom stuck in dryer.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me he did not go down that rabbit hole.
No, his brother and him did.
Oh.
He's reading this to me on the air, and I don't even know what to say to it, John. And for me to be at a loss for words, dude, you've known me long enough. That just don't happen.
And then Mike, I sent you the Mary Santora thing about stepmom stuck in dryer.
Oh yeah, you did.
She actually she's moving to New York, but yet she's still going to be on the Alan Cox show. So good for her.
That is good for her. So let's take our break because John has got to hear the new intro to the translator.
Oh, jeez.
Let's do this. He surprised me with it, and it was fucking epic. So get your refill.
Yeah, I need one.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I mentioned it.
My ice is clanking. My ice is clanking.
Bartender, Spring Sith needs a refill.
Hey, I've already put the women and children in bed. It's time to go looking for dinner.
Oh, thank you, Joe Kane.
Kane is able.
You two are fucking killing me.
Oh, okay. Before we cut out, who did you like better in that one, Christy Swanson or Halle Berry?
Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson.
Because remember, that was also Halle Berry's first major motion picture.
Yeah. I give Halle Berry all the credit and respect in the world, but not in that movie.
We also have to. What was her name? Wasn't Joey Lauren Adams in that too? Wasn't she the backup quarterback?
She was the one who got because she was the one who got caught cheating on the test. Yeah. Yep. I loved her in Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
I had a huge crush on her from Dazed and Confused.
I saw the movie one time, but everybody remembers her from the Kevin Smith.
The Kevin Smith movies, Chasing Amy and Mallrats.
Mallrats.
Yep. The 5-second part that she had in Jay and Silent Bob.
Yes.
Do you know what the scary thing is? Dogma is my favorite one.
I like Dogma a lot. I like all of Kevin Smith movies. I like all of Kevin Smith movies.
The scene in the gun store.
Oh my gosh.
Mass genocide is the most exhausting thing to do this side of soccer.
I was always Mallrats guy.
I for some reason every time I hear someone sneeze, I always say, "You didn't say God bless you."
Fly, fat ass, fly.
Why'd you hug my head? The Buddy Christ.
I still cannot do a magic eye.
Oh my god. I love that Alanis Morissette was God. How awesome was that?
That was phenomenal. First of all, Alan Rickman as Metatron basically made that film.
Yeah. Oh, God rest his soul.
Oh, Snape.
That's actually what I need to do this weekend. It is.
Wasn't he also what's his face from the Nakagami Tower or whatever?
Yeah,
was
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, Hans Gruber.
I've watched every holiday movie known to man in my library or on Netflix right now, and I have yet to watch Die Hard.
That's because it's not a Christmas movie.
You shut your hole.
Bruce
Fine.
Willis said it wasn't a Christmas movie.
Just for that, punishment number 1.
Go Blue.
Well played.
My cousin's band is playing out in Lakewood tomorrow, and they said ugly Christmas sweater. So even though it's a sweatshirt, that's getting worn tomorrow.
Nice. Listen, Bruce Willis is the one who said it wasn't a Christmas movie.
It has a lot of Christmassy undertones, but I would not categorize it as a Christmas movie.
Greatest Christmas movie there ever was, and you both are wrong.
I said I would not categorize it.
Let's be very clear. The greatest Christmas movie ever is a toss-up between the one filmed in Cleveland and The Muppet Christmas Carol.
I love The Muppet Christmas Carol.
That's because Michael Caine played it straight like he was friggin'
Muppet fan.
I love when Beaker flips him off.
Yes.
Like that's so like it's so like random.
No. When Gonzo throws the hook when the first spirit has him and grabs onto the thing and Rizzo wants no part of it. Well, on that note, we are going to go to our intermission here. We'll say intermission, Jim, because it is hockey season.
On that JC Blue note?
Yes. We will go to well played, John. We'll go to our intermission, 5 minutes, fill your drinks, and when we get back, we're going to hit on a few other things from the sports world, including the New York Yankees making maybe the stupidest trade in the history of trades.
We'll also talk a little bit of the fact that not a single starting quarterback in the NFL seems to be healthy anymore. We'll actually touch on a few other things, including the conclusion of the dumbest thing in professional sports right now, the NBA in-season tournament, and of course the Wisey translator.
See you in a few. I got it now at 11 with, what is that, 52.5 left?
Yep. Spida just iced it.
Nice.
Yeah, slashed right to the middle, and I think he went right past soccer mom, Jimmy Butler, to do it.
Emo Jimmy.
All that's missing is the eyeliner and the mesh sleeve.
He looked like Robert Smith from The Cure with that hair, didn't he?
You leave Robert Smith alone.
Do you know every time I hear his name, I think of the South Park episode?
Yes, disintegration is the greatest album ever. I mean, it's up there.
So welcome back, everyone. As Jim and I were talking in between during our little intermission there, the Cleveland Cavaliers hold an 11-point lead in Miami against the Heat with 41 seconds left. So the Cavs will go to 13-9. Hey, 7-3 away from Romo Fijo.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of road warrior in this team. I like it. And Max Strus has been an absolute fucking revelation.
Speaking of road warrior, talking hockey for a second, Mike, what did you think of that stat that I sent you earlier today?
That's crazy. Tell John that. I think stat-wise, John will think that's nuts too.
The Los Angeles Kings, after their 4-0 win over Montreal last night, are within only 4 points of the Vegas Golden Knights, who had that massive start to the season after winning the Cup last year. The Kings are 11-0-0 away from Crypto.com Arena. The next closest team in the NHL is a logjam of 3 with 3 losses.
Wow. Wow. Not even, wow.
And their goal differential is the best in the NHL right now.
Wow. That's
impressive.
That's impressive. That's impressive. At the National Hockey level, that's impressive.
So I was looking real quick because apparently people are tracking planes out of Southern California that may have Shohei Ohtani on it, like it's fucking Santa Claus on Christmas Eve. Let's do a little baseball. Dude, someone said he was flying to Toronto.
Oh, get out of here.
The fact that they're turning it into a Santa tracker 17 days before Christmas is hilarious.
It is hilarious. So let's talk about that massive trade that was just done. The Yankees sent 5 players, including 4 pitchers, to the San Diego Padres for Juan Soto and Trent Grisham, which now the Yankee outfield, after the trade for Alex Verdugo, will be Verdugo in left, Aaron Judge in center, Juan Soto in right. There are a lot of people in the media. There are a lot of people in the world thinking that the New York Yankees are now a shoo-in for the World Series. And I have one question for both of you gentlemen. John, your playing background, and Jim, your analyzing background in baseball was what I'd like to take advantage of. Who the fuck is going to pitch beside Garrett Cole?
Jose Canseco.
Wow.
Bring him out of retirement. He pitched. He's a pitcher.
He's also a dude who had a home run knocked off his head when Jim was at the game.
I was there.
No,
Yeah,
John, seriously. Jim was at that
question.
game.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
If they're like, depending on the angle that you see, when that ball is headed out to right field, you can see me, my brother, about 3 friends, my dad, and my grandfather in the stands.
That's amazing.
It's gone final, by the way. 111.99 Cavs win.
Yeah, it's
in
about
Miami.
20 seconds behind.
Yeah,
One of the
don't know.
illegal YouTube channels we found to watch football on had it.
That's funny.
I don't think he's doing anything right now. Could they actually get Don Mattingly to pitch with his sideburns shaved all the way up because Mr. Burns won't let him wear them?
He's the bench coach in Toronto.
Oh, so he's flying. So Ohtani's flying out there to pick him up, I guess, huh?
That is insanity. But yeah, let's talk about that trade. Now, yes, it gives the Yankees maybe the best lineup in baseball, but it begs the question. Who going to pitch?
I mean, what are they going to do? Try to just outscore everybody?
Well, they think they're going to get Yamamoto, the other Japanese pitcher who's coming over this year. I say the richest man in baseball just sat with Yamamoto and his mama for dinner in Japan.
But I
Yes,
will
Steve
say,
Cohen flew to Japan.
yes, pitching is a extreme integral part of the game. But I think hitting has taken the forefront. I think the lineup has taken the forefront as far as just not even just as far as getting the viewership and the entertainment value up, but I think the game itself has turned into an offensive game.
And especially last year with the stolen base numbers going way up, with what Acuna did,
Yeah.
with what Ohtani has done and what Trout has been doing and Harper and all those boys. Absolutely. The hitting has gone up. I want to jump back to college football again, guys. I'm sorry, but the top 10 for the Heisman finalist is in. This might be the most disrespectful fucking thing I've ever seen. At number 10 is J.J. McCarthy. At number 9 is Blake Corum. Number 8 from Mizzou, Cody Schrader. Number 7 from Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon, who just won the Doak Walker Award. Number 6 from Alabama, Jalen Milroe, their quarterback, who, was benched for bad play and then all of a sudden playing the bottom feeders in the cupcake schedule, became a Heisman finalist in the top 10. Guess who the number 5 and the first one left out of going to New York is?
Jalen Daniel.
Jordan Travis.
Wow.
Disrespectful fucks.
Wow.
So in the top 4, they've already announced it's Jaden Daniels, it's Marvin Harrison, it's Michael Penix, and it's who's the other one?
Bo
Nix.
Auburn's got to be pissed.
As an Auburn fan, that's the one that stuns me the most, is that he was good, but he wasn't great. And then he actually goes, and he gets into Dan Lanning's system. And I think he's going to be the best of the bunch coming out of, for the NFL.
Non-inept offensive coaching will do that. Hey,
Yeah,
speaking
unfortunately,
of Auburn,
Harrison was handcuffed by his quarterback.
He was. Speaking of Auburn, it's been 10 years since the kick six.
Is it really? Wow. It feels like it was just yesterday.
Well, it's because we all can't stand Alabama and we enjoy watching them suffer. So yeah, I was looking through, I've been checking social media to see if we hear anything about any breaking news, baseball wise, hot stove while we're on here. And I just saw that and I was like, are you for fucking real?
I'll tell you this much though, at least the only good thing to come out of the Soto trade is it means the Yankees aren't going to land Ohtani.
No, I honestly think it's still the Dodgers. I still think it's the Dodgers. No, the Dodgers have been shedding payroll like crazy to bring him in.
Oh, look at that. Marvin Harrison just scored. FS1 is showing the game.
No. Damn it, Kyle.
What did
you know that his mom's a big fat bitch?
Where did USC end up finishing? Honestly,
this side of who gives a shit.
Well, the reason why I ask is because, Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
Defending Heisman Trophy candidate, right? Well, defending Heisman. He won it last year, right?
Yeah. He was at the helm of a 4-loss team.
Yeah. I'm just trying to look for any way to validate the Florida State quarterback.
John, the way to validate him is exactly
I'm sorry. To validate the LSU quarterback. I'm sorry. That's because
it's numbers, John. It's just his numbers. He had an insane last 3 weeks.
Okay, so he's had an insane last 3 weeks.
But like Caleb Williams, he had no signature wins. His worst game of the year was against Florida State.
Yeah, where they got annihilated. I mean, yes, he threw for, I want to say they threw for almost the same amount of yards.
Yeah.
But Jordan Travis outplayed him.
Agreed. So now we're going to have Jordan Travis being the starting quarterback of a team that got left out of the playoff, and a guy he beat the piss out of is going to win the Heisman.
Not so much breaking news, but Mike, our inside joke just took a little bit of a turn. It was announced earlier this evening that Chris Everett's cancer has returned.
Oh no. We got to come up with another one. I can't do that one anymore. Not now.
Yeah, I think we got to put a temporary moratorium on it.
I believe so. So, John, we'll explain that real quick. So, you know who is it that does the Brett Michaels thing?
Goldhammer and Rizzo.
When they don't want to answer a question, they always say Brett Michaels.
Okay.
Well, Jim started saying Jim Everett, and I would jump in with Chris Everett just because that's my
Okay. Okay, Chris.
And now we won't do that now. Do we have to go back to Brett Michaels, though? Can we think of somebody else?
We'll think of somebody else by the season finale next week.
Okay.
Marshawn Lynch.
Oh my God. No.
That could work. That could work.
That could work.
What's that?
What is it with him and the fucking ideas on our last time we're going to have him on for a calendar year?
Yeah, because
last year the son of a bitch gave us the Wisies.
Yeah, because at that particular point we're just paid. We're just here so we don't get fined.
That's very true.
Exactly. That's why I think it fits. You don't want to answer a question? Marshawn Lynch.
I could probably do worse and say I could probably. You know what? I've got it. After last night's game, Bailey Zappi or Kenny Pickett.
Marshawn Lynch. Probably would have played better quarterback.
Do you see the things going around that Belichick looked disappointed with the win?
Belichick looks disappointed with oxygen.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask John this question.
Okay.
Is he really Emperor Palpatine? Seriously?
I don't know. His sleeves are cut off his robes. I don't know. I can't really tell.
And if he's Emperor Palpatine, who's the Yoda that beats his ass in one of these?
That's a great question.
It'd have to be Robert Kraft.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mike, I'm going to ask you a very simple question.
What's that?
You went over my helmet?
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
When will then be now?
Soon. No. The fact that the captain from Star Trek Deep Space Nine is the one that said we ain't found shit in Spaceballs.
And they got John Hurt from Alien to reenact the whole thing.
Yes, the entire scene.
Not again. No. You idiot. You captured their stunt doubles.
Check, please.
And yet, the funny thing is every time I watch one of the reactions of that movie on YouTube, everyone laughs their ass off, except they all get grossed out with Pizza the Hut, and it just makes me want Pizza Hut that much more.
You're delicious.
I love me some Pizza Hut, man.
This just in. Pizza Hut ate himself to death.
Did you know the Gimme Paw was in between the take?
And they kept it in.
And when he did it, John Candy had a pair of sunglasses on originally.
Wow.
And Paxton said to Mel Brooks, can he leave the sunglasses on? And he goes, not in space.
Wow.
You know what it also reminds me of, Mike, us being Friends fans, is Ross and Chandler when they want to party
Yeah. John, I sent you something in Messenger during the break. Take a look at the picture. See if you remember it.
All right.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
It's Harry and it's Harry from Harry and the Hendersons
Harry
with
and
John
the
Lithgow
Hendersons
as
with John
Han
Lithgow.
Solo.
That is fantastic.
I loved that movie.
That was a great movie. That was very underrated.
It certainly was. So the last thing I want to get into before we get into the translator, and Jim, honestly, who gives a shit about that fucking tournament? The Lakers are going to win. Stop it. The Lakers are going to win. And then it's going to give the morning time talk shows something else to talk about between LeBron and Jordan.
Can't even compare that. They never had an in-season tournament.
That's because David Stearns wasn't an idiot.
That's because they never needed anything to try and spike ratings.
It's it's the dumbest concept in sports. It really is.
No, I think 13 people deciding who can play for a national championship is stupider, but we won't go there anymore.
It's called lack of superstar. What's the word I'm looking for? Depth, so to speak. You look at those teams in the 80s and 90s, man. Other than the real bad teams, but every team had superstars on them. Every team had superstars.
Yeah, every team had at least one.
Yeah. Now you have the groups of 3 and 4 that all combine together. Now you only have 4 or 5 teams that are worth anything, and everything else is garbage.
The only good thing that's actually come out of this is really Tyrese Halliburton's been put on a stage where everyone can realize he is one of the top 10 players in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, he's been phenomenal. The thing that I take out of this is that whoever was commissioned to design the courts for this needs to be shot.
Oh, my God.
If they do this next year, those will not be there.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, speaking of, did the Hornets wear our jerseys, Jim?
Michael.
John, they have a sponsorship agreement with Feastables now.
Do they really?
And you did not just play the porn up music. We think there's a Feastables logo on the clit jersey.
Oh my gosh. No way.
Hey, at least damage. 6 weeks ago I found it.
Just digging deeper and deeper.
No, John, when he flew home from Georgia, he flew through Charlotte.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wait, John, what did you say?
They just keep digging deeper and deeper. Keep digging themselves deeper and deeper.
Do it again.
Who? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, we've got an off the rails going into the season finale.
I love it. I love it. But then again, James.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Obligatory.
It's been a few weeks since we've done it.
Yeah, but also our last few weeks have been serious enough to where we actually have not broken out the soundboard very much.
Serious content heavy the last few weeks. I mean, the first half was serious content heavy. I think everybody talking about that now, which is really the biggest topic in sports going because of the sheer stupidity of it. Even Eric Casillas, who no one can stand, got in on it.
Yeah.
But Jim.
We got one or two more things we could talk about very briefly here.
Go ahead.
John Rahm jumping to live yesterday. The number three player in the world.
Oh, wow. I saw, what was it 15 out of the last 30 major champions went to live? Man, that Saudi blood money has got to be fucking worth it there.
Seriously, how much more could you sell out? I understand you want the big payday, but it's, he's 28 years old. He's the defending Masters champion. He's finished like second in 3 of the last 5 majors outside of that.
I thought they came to an agreement.
They did, but it's still like everything's not been finalized yet, so that trickle down money hasn't taken effect yet.
Okay. Got it.
I'm just waiting for Charlie Woods to get on tour and just start whooping people's ass like his old man did.
That's going to be interesting and a lot of fun here before too long.
Here is the Sunday matchup I want to see. I want to see John Daly's kid against Charlie.
Because Daly's kid could do something his old man couldn't. His kid can't
Hold his liquor.
I was going to say he can't palm the ball, but he can hit a 4-iron.
Funny how we were both right on the same exact page with that.
Did you ever see him with those guys that do the thing on TikTok where they try and get you to back off?
Back off challenge. Yup. Love
John,
those
have
guys.
you ever seen the back off challenge?
I have not seen the back off challenge.
They start talking shit
Do we need
while
to put
you're
one
standing
up
on
for
a
him?
tee. No. My personal
Okay.
favorite is they asked Caitlyn Jenner if she misses being able to pee in the bushes on the course.
Oh, you know what? I didn't know it was called. I didn't know it was back off challenge. I didn't know that. But
So
yes, they
basically-
actually engage, and the golfers engage back.
The one
From what I've seen,
the one they did with Warren Sapp was amazing.
Oh my god!
I'll have to look. I'll have to find that. Yeah,
Sounds like
I saw the one with Caitlyn Jenner. I saw that one. Yes,
The one with John Daly's
That was
hilarious.
great.
They said, "How come you owe more money to Taco Bell than your ex-wives?"
Oh my god!
And he hits an iron to within 3 feet and goes, "Because Taco Bell tastes better than my ex-wife."
Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal.
Mike, I have to send you something offline. There's a
Oh boy!
you remember how we were talking about stand-up comics on YouTube the other day?
Yes.
There's a new one that I found. She is so new, I can't find anything more than like a 90-second clip of hers. She told probably the worst joke I've heard all year, and yet it's the most offensive and probably the funniest joke I've heard.
Wow.
It was worse than Matt Rife's clapback about his
Yes.
domestic violence joke.
Yes.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
The girl actually has such a her whole stage presence is she's like really, really timid and almost like super, super awkward. The other joke that she makes, she's like, I sound like somebody who plays eeny, meeny, miny, mo when I go to put gas in my car. And today it was Diesel.
She plays the ditzy.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
I'm all
had a lot
about
of-
what's her face Tomlinson right now.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
that's Jim's like
can't wait for after midnight.
She's
'Cause I
funny
I
and good
remember
looking.
I remember at midnight when Chris Hardwick did it, and I can only imagine what she's gonna do with the reincarnation of it after the first of the year.
Yeah.
that's Corden's spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna miss Corden much at all.
Carpool karaoke was cool, and the rap battle was cool.
Once in a while, but
When he called Kevin Hart Jokey Smurf, that was awesome.
Jokies. I like the carpool karaoke. I did like that.
Yeah.
yeah, but if I want to watch somebody from the UK really put on a decent talk show, Mike, you know who we're gonna watch.
We're gonna watch Graham Norton.
Graham Norton. Absolutely.
John, I'm gonna send you the Robbie Williams story
Okay.
that he tells. Oh my god. On the couch is Robbie Williams, Justin Timberlake, Anna Kendrick, and Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
Okay.
Anna
Wow.
Kendrick looks more horrified than I've ever seen her ever.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You all right over there, Jim?
Yeah.
You said Anna Kendrick.
I
That's
did.
exactly it.
Alex was getting on me for not getting Amanda Kendrick's number, and I was like, I don't need stalker charges, bro.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
All right, we've had multiple Austin Powers references. We've had Spaceballs references. We've had what
Program
else have we-
references.
program.
Couple Die Hards.
Anytime I'm with you, dude, for some reason, we've been talking about doing the show for over a week now. And for the last 2 days, Nuke Lelouch Crash Davis clips are coming up in my Facebook watch timeline. I give you a gift and you show up my picture. Run, dummy. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. I'll play it because it's a little louder. John, listen to our newest addition to one of our new additions to the soundboard.
Is that Big Chuck and Little John?
It is.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Their laugh track. That's phenomenal.
He played it.
That's great.
Jim's got a video of Bobby just hitting the soundbar, the soundboard.
That's so funny.
His two favorites are Yakety Sax and well, the ones that him and his father deal with. Where is it? Where the hell did it go?
So funny.
Not that one. This one.
Morons.
There's Blazing Saddles. Wait, hold on.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
No, wait. We got to take our hats off for this one.
You have to stop the Q-tip when there's resistance.
Nice.
You know what? I've been watching a lot of reactions.
Chanandler Bong.
I've been watching a lot of reactions lately to Robin Hood Men in Tights as well.
That's a good one.
And why not? It worked in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, why was he always saying Abe Lincoln?
Hey, Blinken. No, when they move the castle and he's got the Braille version of Playboy, that's hysterical.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Unlike other
All right,
Robin
Jim.
Hood, I can speak with a British accent.
Ooh. Or I challenge you to a duel and he hits him with a freaking gauntlet.
Yeah, or he's drowning in the pool of water about that deep.
Yeah,
in the river. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. And then they start
this
playing
side.
pencil
I'm
breaks
on
with
this
the
side.
logs.
I'm on both sides.
It is not that complicated. Or send a fox.
I love when they're like sticks this and they're like cracking knuckles. They're
Where he
like,
sends the fox and it's making the dolphin noises.
Or what is it? What part of Georgia you from? South Central?
oh,
Well, the
my
funny thing
gosh.
is, for me, that the funniest thing about the fox thing is with the dolphin noises is that basically it's now kind of morphed into the universal bleeping out cuss words on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loxley and Bigel can't miss. Jim, it's time for band practice.
I get another shot.
I get another shot.
He gets another shot.
Scud missile, the tomahawk chop in the wave, all within 2 minutes.
Oh,
Oh. Dom DeLuise is Don Giovanni, where he's got to pull the cotton out of his mouth.
oh my gosh. Yes.
Or the lizard shits on him. And he wipes the lizard shits in his hand and he wipes it like it's supposed to be the cat from the Godfather. And he wipes it on the dude's
wipes
thing.
it on the...
Yeah. God.
James, it's time for band practice.
Would you shut up? Just push the button already? No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's the YZ Translator on the Wise Guys Sports Show.
I'm forever
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, President Joe Biden taking us into the one and only thing we got left, and that is the YZ Translator. As I always remind everyone, this is a segment of the show when Jim and I give ourselves and our guest a topic off the top of our heads, and the first thing that pops into their head has to be their answer to it. John has provided some epic ones himself. We have heard everything, and by the way, I always mention this. In this one, we've heard Kyrie Irving called a douche canoe in a sing-song voice. We have heard Brett Favre be compared to Boss Hogg. We have heard, we have even gotten a joke about Jared from Subway in this segment. So
we've heard Victor Wembanyama get blown over. We've heard
Josh McDaniels be compared to the Hamburglar.
Lauren Boebert has actually come up in the translator before.
She has. And that was the Casey Anthony reference.
Yes.
So we have gone well off the rails with this. So tonight we give our final translator. Are we doing a translator next week?
We could do a translator next week because it's mostly going to be off the rails. We're not going to talk much sports next week at all.
Well, I figure we'll preview the Cotton Bowl next week.
We'll do a few.
So as always, we will start with our esteemed YZ Elite guest, the Sporting Sith. And Jim, I have the first one for John. And John, your first entry into the YZ Translator for this evening is Boo Corrigan.
Oh my god. Oh, I have nothing.
Neither does he. If I was given this one, I was going to say Boo Radley, but
I mean, you get nothing. Good day. You lose.
He went Wonka. Oh my god! You think that was the conversation with the Florida State AD?
Yeah. I mean, I 3-ring circus.
BT Barnum.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my god! 13 idiot men.
The greatest showman.
Nice.
I mean,
the greatest shit on earth.
Yeah. There you go.
How about
the greatest shit on turf?
How about a reference to the late Richard Roundtree and just call it Shaft?
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
I'm just talking about Shaft.
Michael, I'd like to go to you next here.
Okay.
As a little bit, even though we're not going to talk about it until next week and we're going to do it briefly, we've had a lot of fun with this now. It's not going to be the same thing next week. Your first name tonight in the YC Translator, Missouri head football coach Eli Drinkwitz.
The only SEC coach to make anyone laugh legitimately with that joke. And by the way, the biggest shade thrower I've ever seen. Dude, I got to tell you, the funniest part about that was not the fact that he said Connor Stallions was calling him. The funniest part about that is every single person on the show could not help themselves.
Oh, he laughed. He laughed Reese Davis almost out of his chair.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
John and I were actually talking about that this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an ultimate mic drop moment right there.
Oh my God. And then John says to me, he goes, now they're going to go after him for 3-game suspension.
Oh, don't be doing that because I'm a Mizzou fan. I can't wait actually for tomorrow. My cousin's band is playing out in Lakewood, and my cousin Elena, her fiance Allison, went to Mizzou. They went back for homecoming. So now it's basically me and
Nice.
Allison getting a gang up on my cousin Elena because Elena
Nice.
graduated from Ohio State.
That's awesome. We'll discuss the Cotton Bowl.
And she's the best pizza delivery person in Columbus.
Dude. We were going to cut for the game preview the beginning. Did you ever see the retrospective they did on the rivalry on HBO years ago?
I probably saw it when it first happened, when they first aired it.
It was around, it came out in like around the 06 game.
Mm-hmm.
The end of that is alums from the two schools making fun of each other. The first joke is, how do you make Michigan cookies? You put them in a bowl and you beat them for 3 hours. Or what was it? The pizza one was in there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get an Ohio State grad off your porch paying for the pizza?
Go Blue.
I'm sorry, Mike. Were you saying something? Funny, you say that, and McCourt just throws the interception to seal it.
He got hit on that play.
Exactly.
Anyways,
that's what he was saying. He was saying, I have 3 Michigan defenders in my face.
Yeah, that was a great dial-up defensive play. So, Jim, I got one for you, and you actually just referenced him. James, your first name in the Wisey translator is Kyle McCord.
When the going gets tough, quit. When you don't, when you can't beat your biggest rival, quit.
It wasn't him who asked for a guarantee of playing time next year. It was his father.
When your head coach is 1-3 against your rival and lost to a backup coach, quit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I got nothing for you.
All right, I got one for each of you.
Oh, here we go.
This one's gonna be hot off the press.
Is it the same one for both of us, or are we each getting?
It is the same one. Let's make the same one for both of y'all.
Okay.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Kelsey.
Oh. I was thinking more like Travis Swift, but all right.
Based on our conversation earlier, does somebody need help changing the laundry?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a teeny bit disappointed in you guys, and that
Why?
you didn't go with the obvious answer.
What's that?
Amy Smart from Varsity Blues.
That's all Mike, because I've never seen it.
What?
Oh, the whipped cream bikini. She tries to hook on to the popular quarterback, the quarterback of the high school, to make sure that she can get
out of town,
get her right out of town, because this quarterback is going to go to the college and go be good and all this stuff. So the backup quarterback becomes the starting quarterback, and she invites the backup quarterback over to her house and opens the door in a whipped cream bikini.
I just remember Amy Smart is calling in a bomb threat in PCU.
Yeah, and that too.
No, it wasn't Amy Smart. It was Allie Larder.
Allie Larder.
Oh,
That's
wait.
right. Oh,
That was-
my
that was-
bad.
That was
My-
Road Trip, wasn't it?
My bad. Allie Larder.
No,
my bad.
Amy Smart was
Amy
Euro
Smart did
Trip. I
call
think.
in. She did call in the bomb threat. I might be getting the name of the movie backwards. I don't think it was PCU. It was Road Trip, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Because I
The
know
only thing I remember
Stifler
about
was in
Road
it.
Trip. The only thing I remember about Road Trip was DJ Qualls holding up those giant cheetah print friggin'
That
draws.
was it. That's
Oh my
it. That's it.
gosh.
Because I remember Sean
Oh
William
my
Scott was in it
gosh.
too.
Yes, Stifler was in it with
Yes.
DJ Qualls. Jim, you got one for
Allie
John?
Larder. That's it. My fault. My bad.
Oh, and going back to your topic there, John, I will
Yes.
say this: the elder Kelsey has the better looking woman.
I haven't even seen. I'll have to look her up.
Kylie,
I'm
I
on
haven't
it.
even, I haven't even seen. I'm not gonna lie.
bro. Trust me when I tell you,
I'm on it.
Jason.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Taylor Swift is the hottest thing ever. I'm just saying.
no, I'm merely saying that
She's
if
looking for a
you-
meal ticket. I mean, Lord knows she needs one.
Oh yeah, yeah. That the insane amount of money that those two will have in Kansas City when they live there. I didn't realize
Didn't
she
I
was from
see,
Philly.
One of them is like little by little moving into the other's house or something.
Travis bought
I-
a house in a gated community.
I don't mind their relationship at all.
That's
okay.
Yo, she
All right.
him on Tinder.
Really?
That is a legendary story.
Dude, you have to watch New Heights. They have her on. And at the beginning,
Wow.
like how we're being stupid, Travis and Jason are talking. And Jason goes, I think Kylie's nervous. She goes, I'm not nervous. I don't want to fucking do it.
She
Oh
did
my
not
gosh,
want to
that's-
come on at all.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Oh, she's what was she? D2 field hockey player?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then the story of the the proposal.
When he went to talk to her dad, he said he had to take a shit. Well, dude, apparently their parents met at a bar in the flats,
Oh wow.
and their
Where's
mother
she,
was
where's
supposed
she
to.
from?
She's from Philly.
Oh, okay.
He met her on Tinder after he was in the NFL, and apparently his Tinder profile had nothing to do with the Philadelphia Eagles.
None.
Wow. Interesting.
Didn't like somebody recognize him
Her
afterwards?
friend, her
Yeah.
friend did,
Wow.
and said it's either a catfish or this is the craziest story ever. And within 45 minutes of meeting her at a bar, he had passed out from being too drunk on a friggin' table.
Oh my gosh.
And marriage and 3 kids later.
And
Wow.
like the most adorable dad with his kids, like for any NFL player I've ever seen.
Outside of Drew Brees, maybe.
Yeah, Drew Brees was pretty. That was pretty epic.
Did you
as
see
far
the
as-
story about him? Like
He
last
can't lift
week?
his right arm.
He can't move.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, he
I
plays
knew
catch
it.
with his kids left-handed.
With all
Oh,
the
wow.
with all the injuries that were coming out, and we actually pushed this as like, with all the rash of injuries, that teams reached out to him and he said, I can't throw the ball with my right arm anymore.
Wow. Why? I mean, he's been out for a while, man.
Yeah, but I mean, they picked the Browns picked up Joe Flacco
Yeah,
off the
that's-
scrap heap after 18 months.
That's true.
And Flacco almost won him a game last week, regardless of what the final score says.
But you know
No, he
what?
didn't play bad.
Because all of these NFL quarterbacks are now getting hurt, I think they should just cancel the playoffs. Because nobody wants to see backup quarterbacks. Just ask the CFP.
Very good, John. Very good, John. I was waiting for it. Oh,
John-
hey, John, I
Go
got a sound for your Boo Corrigan one.
You big dummy.
yeah. Yeah. I my favorite one now is the kid that's in his car seat. Bullshit. 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 That's my favorite one right now. That is my favorite one out there right now.
I think I'm a little bit more partial, Mike. I think I think I sent it to you. I can't remember if we had Alex or if it was Patrick on the kid saying "fuck" in the middle of the Waffle House.
That was Alex.
Okay,
Oh my.
Jim, you were about to give John one.
Daddy and Uncle Joe took his son golfing. He came back and learned a new word,
Oh my God.
and it's hilarious.
Yeah, well, mine's starting to do that too.
Yeah, mine's a parrot.
Excellent.
Yeah, mine is a
My
parrot.
kid who is a little speech delayed. Yeah.
So the other day I was leaving the grocery store and I was pulling out into traffic and this nice lady waved me ahead of her. And I was like, "Oh, thank you, lady." And then from the back seat, I hear my 20-month-old, "Thank you, lady." I was just like, "Oh boy."
John,
I was like, I'm so glad I said something nice.
John, we hit the Y stage.
Oh, I am not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Why?
I'm in the
Why?
no
I
and
can't hear
mind
that without.
stage.
I can't. What was that? Tiny Toons?
Yes.
Tiny Toons, yes. Oh my gosh, Tiny Toons. I forgot about Tiny Toons.
How could you forget about Tiny Toons?
Wow.
Love Tiny Toons. The original. I haven't seen the new ones.
Don't.
John,
Anything
your
better?
second entry into the YZ translator is not so much a person as it is an entity. They are now officially 0-18 at this particular point. The Detroit Pistons.
Emilio Estevez and Men at Work. Just garbage pickers.
Golf clap?
Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama. Who's Charlie? Who's Emilio? Because they both lost at least 14 in a row.
Wow. Yeah. Flip a coin. Ding.
Wembanyama is definitely Emilio because he's not going to do anything stupid. My question is, Wander Franco or the dude on the Thunder?
Because you know the image that I'm already thinking of.
The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Mike. Just for going there.
Go blue.
It was right, but it was so much more wrong on the same fulcrum.
No, I deserve that one.
Oh wait, he said he deserved that one? So does that mean that we get to do it again?
No. No, or you're going to be painting yourself scarlet and gray next year if they win.
The fact is that they actually have to win, and you're
I know,
0-3 on
I
this
know.
show.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Well, as long as we don't get to 0-5 like some people did.
Yeah, that was rough.
Dude, it's cyclical. It'll come back, and at least the games have been fun.
0-5 sucks, but I still think 1-11 was worse.
Oh, Cooper was horrible. James,
Michael,
I have a name for you, sir. And your entry into the YZ translator for this evening, sir, is Shohei Ohtani.
and I thought I was getting comfortable on flights lately.
We weren't tracking you like Santa, brother.
Since all the houses are basically on top of each other, how does Japanese Santa come down the chimneys?
It's magic. He sprinkles a little dust like Robert Downey Jr.
Oh my God. I can't even.
It's all powder, anyways.
No, that's the 86 Mets, John.
Oh, God damn it, you beat me to it because I was going to say Whitney Houston's not around anymore.
How can you level up like that? Come on, Jim.
Why don't I just picture somebody walking up like this to that music?
That's Final Fantasy.
I never played that game. Never played Final Fantasy. To me, it sounded like Zelda, to be honest. But
that might actually be tonight, is going back and playing Link to the Past.
John, I got one more name for you in said YZ translator.
Here we go.
And this one is going to be kind of close to home. But your second entry into the YZ translator is Bronny James.
Ricky Schroeder and Silver Spoon.
You're going way in the Wayback Machine tonight, dude.
I am. I could see him riding his little train throughout his house.
Yeah, but the father wrote it more than the kid.
I was going to say, but I'll tell you this much: it's what's LeBron's wife's name? It doesn't matter. She couldn't hold a candle to Aaron Gray.
Savannah? No. Oh yeah, no. First show you saw her on, Jim, was it that one or was it Buck Rogers?
That one. I didn't have the attention span growing up for Buck Rogers.
I just thought the robot was cool.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but it's like you're expecting a kid with ADD who's on Ritalin to be able to pay attention to 30 minutes of Silver Spoon as opposed to like an hour of Buck Rogers in prime time.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, in the 80s, who couldn't relate to Ricky Schroeder and Silver Spoon? I mean, we all grew up like him, right?
With our tap dance kid best friend?
Yeah. Right there off the mean streets of Akron, right?
Oh my
There's
God.
a Main Street Posse joke in here somewhere.
There really is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jim, you got one for me? Or did you give me one?
Yeah, I'm going to bring the mood down a little bit here.
Oh, here we go.
Michael, your last name in the YZ translator for tonight, Sean McDermott.
I mean, how? Huh? How? You have got to be a stupid motherfucker. That's all I got to say about that. You just cannot. How?
Let me
Now, if he said something like that after Josh Allen started throwing the ball to everybody else and their fucking mother, I get it. But this was pre-Josh Allen.
let me follow that up with this question. And this is not a Brett Michaels, Marshawn Lynch. I want an honest answer here. What's a worse look? And I'm going to give you three options.
Ooh.
McDermott with what he said.
Mm-hmm.
George Santos about the lie with his mom, or if you remember the show The League, Steve Ranazizi lying that he was there when it happened as well.
Santos, because he played it to win a false election. And, you know, I'm waiting for the Mrs. Doubtfire gear for him.
John, same question.
I Marshawn Lynch.
John being the guest on the show, he does have the Marshawn Lynch opt-out.
Yes, he does get to actually pull his ace in the hole here.
And let me explain my reasoning behind that. I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but I don't think, in my honest opinion, that Sean McDermott was trying to say anything negative relating to the 9/11 victims, relating to anything relating to 9/11 itself. I've been known to say in the past that, like, and this could end up getting a lot of shit here too. Think about it. In the past, Hitler was a freaking genius. For one man to get that many people to follow blindly and do the things that they did, you have to have some sort of genius in you. What he did was wrong. Don't get me wrong. What he did was absolutely abhorrent, but he was a very smart man. And I think for him to talk about the hijackers and the coordination, yes, their plan was flawless. Their plan was absolute. So I don't have a huge problem with what he said. Maybe he could have probably delivered it a little bit better, but their plan was flawless. They other than the plane that, you know, was taken down in Pennsylvania, they executed a plan to damn near flawlessness, and I can't. Was it wrong? Absolutely. I'm not saying one ounce of anything that what happened in 9/11 wasn't absolutely tragic. But they had a plan and they executed it. But I don't think it's appropriate to associate it with sports.
No. And
that's where it's wrong. Like if he was just making a personal opinion, a personal comment, but to kind of tie it in to I think that's where you kind of like lose people.
Absolutely.
So yes, that's why I pulled the Marshawn Lynch card on that one.
Again, you're the guest. You're allowed to.
He gave the answer so he doesn't get fined.
Exactly. So, as we've been teasing all night, next week will be our quote unquote season finale for 2023. And we will do it a la last year, the holiday free for all. Now, there was a big recon episode after that as the three of us actually previewed the CFP. We won't be doing that this year. I don't have any damn time. So
I will be doing my simulation, my 12-team simulation again.
Well, that's I
will be doing that again.
That's what I was gonna toss it to.
Both the actual way the NCAA has it set up, where Liberty would actually be the 12th seed, and my way of where I have it set up, where Liberty would actually be the 5th seed, or the 6th seed. Sorry,
I like your way better.
You throw the bone to I mean, they're undefeated. They won their conference championship. So you have the Power 5 all conference champions in the top 5 positions. Then you have the highest ranked group of 5 conference champion, which would be Liberty, gets the 6th spot. And then the rest are all at large, or you basically put them in as far as the rankings would go down.
What was it? We were looking at Ohio State, Ole Miss. If I remember correctly, that was one of the games. Penn State would play.
I think in the NCAA ranking,
it's Ohio
State would play Penn State.
Oh, okay.
In my ranking, I believe it would be Ohio State would play Ole Miss.
Okay, I wasn't paying attention to the NCAA one because yours makes more sense.
Yeah, I think the other NCAA one that would be very intriguing, it would be Mizzou and Oregon.
Yes.
Oh,
in Eugene.
That'd be a good game. I still hope that we get a Southern team having to go north of Mason-Dixon in December.
Oh, I mean, we will just with the way that, of the way everything's going to shake out. It's going to set up that way.
Yeah.
Well, if they're staying true to this, the first week is going to be at home, right?
Yeah.
So you very well could. I mean, obviously the top 4 will end up having, the bye week, but then, the 5 through 12 will have.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping for is I'm hoping that that we get, like if that Ole Miss Ohio State game were to go on, have it at the
Ole
shoe.
Miss would have to come up to the
Don't
shoe.
have it in Indianapolis. Have it at the shoe.
Exactly. I know. I absolutely
still want Bama to get a low seed for that if it happens.
Am I wrong in thinking though by doing this because there's part of me that thinks it's kind of sort of rewarding the teams that don't get the bye for getting basically an extra home game. Let's say like in this model right now, Ohio State would host Penn State in that first round game. That the NCAA would like step in and say, hey, you have to allow 30%, 40%, 50% capacity to Ohio Stadium for those Penn State fans because it's going to be at Ohio State. Whereas any of the teams that get the bye, they don't get that extra home game and they actually have to go to a neutral site.
In my fantasy bracket, they do. I have higher seed playing at home first round, higher seed playing at home second round, and then the semifinal, and then the semifinal and the final. So then the bowl games would rotate in the semifinal, and then you'd have the neutral site wherever they'd play for the final.
Okay, maybe I actually just overthought that.
That's how I have it. That's how I would have it set up because your exact point of why penalize the guys, the teams that made it far enough and played well enough to achieve a bye week, why penalize them with a neutral field game and the first round guys get a home game. So I said home games for the first 2 rounds and then the semifinals are the bowl games, the rotating bowl games, and then the final would be wherever it's played.
Yeah, I look forward to that, John. I look forward to seeing
That's-
who you actually pull as your champion
Yeah.
out of those two. So yeah, John's got that coming up. Of course, hey, Jim, we got some kudos to give out as somebody hit 500 subscribers and can now monetize his YouTube channel.
Yeah. Thank you. I was just, I'm beside myself. I couldn't believe it. Thank you. I could not believe it. I got the notification last night while I was actually live streaming NCAA 14, and I was just like, I was shocked. So
I need a new controller, or else because I'd be playing it right now too.
I have an extra one. I can send it to you, but then my son wouldn't be able to play.
Don't do that then.
I can't do that.
Don't do that then. I'm still playing the show like every day.
He loves the show. He loves Madden. He loves the show. He loves playing the college football game with me. So
I can't
we
wait till
play
next
a
summer.
lot of Rocket League together. He loves
Next
Rocket
summer.
League.
Who
Next summer.
skunks who?
What's that?
Who skunks who?
I skunk him still. I skunk him. That's no
one
brainer.
One of my favorite sites to go to is sportslogos.net. They're the ones that do like anytime a team changes their logos or their uniforms. And it's run by a Canadian. His name is Chris Creamer, and I think the last time he put something on his own personal Twitter account, he said, "My son kicked my ass in NHL 24, so I whipped out Blades of Steel and beat him 23-0."
We've had a Blades of Steel reference.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I used to love their little scrums when they'd be fighting. The guys would bounce out.
And my favorite.
Oh no, that
thing
was ice hockey. That was ice hockey that did that. Blades of Steel, you would actually have the fight.
Yeah, but people also forget with Blades of Steel, if you instead of like smashing the buttons to try and initiate the fight, if you hit both buttons at the same time 3 times, you got a penalty shot, and that guy got kicked out of the game.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
cheat codes.
God, yes.
Wow.
So then, after next week, Jim, we will be off until January when our first episode of 2024 will be another one of John's brainchildren. The second annual YZ Awards will come to you in January of 2024.
Why did you have to say that? Because now once we finally get it big enough to get monetized, he's gonna be owed royalties.
And it's on record.
God damn it.
Thanks, Mikey.
The concept idea is on record too, stupid. He's already got it there. The look on your face with the giant eyes and the drop jaw is on record when he said it the last time.
Well, wasn't that off air?
No. That was
Wasn't
at the
that-
end. The off air was.
I thought it was off air.
It's
I
not
thought
off air.
No.
It was
I
in.
have to
It
go-
was on
I
the
have to
Big
go-
Rican
have to
episode.
go.
I have to go back and look, but I want to
Yeah.
say he gave us I don't know if it was the Wiseies, but he gave us something else that made our jaws drop after we went off the air.
It was something else. The Wiseies was on air. What did he give us off the air?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
There was a fucking.
wish I
year ago,
did.
dude. I
I'm
don't
gonna go
remember
back and watch. I'm gonna go back and watch the end of that. It jogged my memory.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then again, John, Jim, I don't think he would have started his streaming thing if we didn't have him on our show. So we could always just put that claim in there too. And
No, I can thank my very short video from Germany for the big reason of why I started streaming.
oh, that's right.
That was the one that really I had fun with the streaming, and I had thought about it here or there, but once that video, I guess you could say, went viral, that's when I finally realized, you know what, I got something here. Let's ride this a little bit. So
Absolutely. So, gents, I am hearing the crying from upstairs. I'm guessing I'm going to be paged at any moment. And I've been up for 21 hours. It's time for the old fat man to go to bed.
okay, I'm sorry. Oh no.
Somebody actually asked me what the letters on the hat meant, and I told them, and they went, "Oh, where'd you get the name from?" I'm like, "Fucking really?
Are you blind?
Have you seen me?" Well, it's because I don't look Puerto Rican.
Well, yeah. My last name is Smith.
This doesn't help.
That doesn't help. No. Sorry, Fester.
Oh. If I could make a light bulb light up with my mouth like that, I would do it. Oh my God. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into our last content-heavy episode of 2023. For our very special guest, the one of the YZ Elite, Mr. John Rice, the sporting Sith himself, and my co-host, JC Blue Note. Jim, I'll see you next Saturday at 9 p.m. Same time, same bad channel.
I promise I will not actually move things around because of, how much we're going to have to plot out. I promise I will be cutting a bunch of video to be able to get ready. But yeah, we're going to have some fun. We'll have some Christmas decor. We'll actually talk next to no sports. And it's just going to be a party, and we're going to be able to say goodbye to you guys for the year.
Yeah, which is really what the most important thing is, because this year's been a ton of fun, and I can't believe it's over already.
Yeah.
You do know that today's the 8th, so in 12 days I will be in Georgia for 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. It was my birthday episode.
This year's flown by, man.
It was my birthday episode in January. I announced we were moving, and then we took the hiatus directly after, and we did the first YZs in March, my first episode back.
Wow.
But from both of us, I think I can speak for Mike here. John, thank you for coming on, for doing this all last minute, bumping back, an extra day here to accommodate me for tomorrow night. We love you, buddy. We hope you and the family have a very, very happy holiday.
Absolutely.
And a great New Year. We'll be in talk with you by then, but you won't be on air with us until 2024. And we wish nothing but the best for you and everybody over there.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. I love it. I love it. I enjoy it. This is what we love to do. We love doing this stuff. We get to bullshit, talk sports. We get to just do our thing, and I love it.
We need to get John on for a Wise Ass Sports Network when the next time
we really do.
It's just an entirely off the rails.
That's most of our conversations.
You got to send him the intro we did for that one.
Yeah, that'll be on my bucket list after I get home from my haircut first thing tomorrow morning.
I cut mine on Sunday.
You still need that razor that I started using, man.
Dude, the back of my head looks like a friggin' minefield. No, I don't. Yo, have you seen the second Boondock Saints movie?
Yeah, I haven't in a long time, but yeah.
The guy had the bald guy had the two eyes in the back of his head, and then he had the bullet go through it. I had a big one back here. I felt like that, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
Bleeding like a stuck pig. What a great way to end the show again, James.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.